How does cloud look like for enterprises in 2022? Here's my view. "2021 was a very hectic year with lots of happenings in the industry, despite of and because of the pandemic. So at the dawn of the new year, I want to take a deep breath and set eyes on the new IT year ahead. Especially, I want to talk about the state of cloud. Over the past decade and a half, companies like AWS, Azure, and Google have defined what cloud is. They created cloud. And they deserve to have their names carved in the stone of IT history. I've nothing but respect towards those companies that we now call hyperscalers. Companies that are among the most highly valued in the world. Companies that run many crucial functions of the modern civilization itself. These days, cloud dominate enterprise IT, and the mountain of cloud news, articles, success stories, and growth numbers create an illusion that every single company is all in for cloud, and public cloud is the only way to survive. But that's quite far from the truth. Almost all easy workloads have been moved to the public cloud already, but according to IDC, about 70 to 80% of companies' business applications still remain on-prem, and some of the workloads are even repatriating from cloud back to on-prem. The reasons? Performance, security, data gravity, regulations, and costs. I consider my home country Finland to be in the forefront of technology adaptation in many ways. But even here, only 75% of companies with more than 10 employees use cloud in some shape or form, with vast majority of the cloud usage being very simple, like emails, file storage, and Office 365, while only 18% use cloud for running their business applications. Reasons? Performance, security, data gravity, regulations, and costs. So for a long time, hyperscalers were certain that the future will be dominated by the public cloud, and there's no future for on-prem computing and private data centers. For a moment, they managed to convince even me. It's been only during the past couple of years they've been forced to admit that it's not the case. There's a clear and big demand for on-prem enterprise computing. Hyperscalers now have a problem. How to make those business-critical on-prem workloads run in the public cloud. They came to a clear conclusion that they can't. Public cloud can't satisfy all applications' needs, not even close, and it never will. So, plan B. They started to offer public cloud experience on-prem. How they do this is pretty ingenious. They started to package hardware and software according to their own cloud data center specifications, ship them to the customer's data centers, and make the user interface as close to public cloud as possible. AWS calls these private public clouds outposts. Azure calls them Azure Stack Hub, Google has Anthos, and just announced a year ago, IBM Cloud Satellite. Now public cloud has started to infiltrate the on-prem data centers. From the other point of view, all major hyperscalers are also offering co-location services in their data centers. You can rent physical servers from, let's say, one of Azure data centers, and those servers will be dedicated to you. No one else's apps will be running on them. Examples of these services are VMware on AWS, Google Cloud VMware Engine, and Azure VMware Solution. This must be devastating news for traditional infrastructure vendors, right? This will surely be the final death sentence to on-prem giants like Dell, HP, Lenovo, IBM, Oracle, and others, right? Well, not so fast. From the moment I heard the term cloud, I've never been the biggest fan of it, mainly because there's nothing groundbreaking about the technology itself. It was only virtualization and automation that had been around for a long time before anybody knew anything about cloud. Along the way, I realized that the most remarkable thing about cloud is not virtual machines, containers, gigabytes, or milliseconds. That's just a small part of it. But the beef with cloud is, of course, the user experience. The new way to consume digital content and resources. Even wider, I dare say that hyperscalers are to be thanked for a big part of the as-a-service culture that the world's driving towards at an accelerating pace. I mean, IKEA wants to lease furniture to you, for crying out loud. So it's the end-user experience that people love about cloud. And that experience is not exclusive to hyperscalers. Not at all. So vast majority of business applications and workloads still run on-prem, and hyperscalers are coming after those workloads. But there's a hiccup. a big one. When we are talking about these business-critical applications and workloads, I mean the apps that require peak performance and uncompromised availability. That's where we are playing in the backyard of HPE, NetApp, IBM, Lenovo, Cisco, and other infrastructure vendors. No one knows this domain better than these companies. They have been living and breathing this business for decades before cloud. And now they are hard at work creating their own cloud experience. HP has GreenLake, Dell has Apex, there's Cisco Plus, NetApp Keystone, and many others, with one common goal: to become Hyperscalers, offering the same beloved cloud experience on-prem. The game is on. But wait, there's more. Over the course of history, the nature of IT in the macro scale has been oscillating between distributed and centralized. The 60s and 70s was the era of mainframes, when the whole world's compute capacity was centralized in a handful of room-sized computers. The 80s and 90s was the era of client-server architecture. In contrast to mainframe era, the computing power was distributed between servers and millions of client computers. IT world moved to highly distributed era. Then, from around 2005, with the exploding popularity of mobile devices, world's compute capacity rapidly moved to public cloud. For the past 15 years, we've been living again in a centralized IT world. But there's a disturbance in the force again. More and more data is generated at the edge every day. In our mobile phones, tablets, and laptops, in the production lines, in autonomous cars, through security cameras, you name it. And data is not only being generated at the edge, but increasingly more data is also being processed and analyzed at the edge, for a very simple reason. There's no time to move the data to the cloud for processing. By the time cloud is sending an answer back to the car that it needs to brake because front bumper sensors detected an obstacle, it might be too late. The world looks very different to how it was 15 years ago. The pace is much faster and everything is becoming real time. We are moving back to distributed world faster than we probably realize ourselves. And in that world, the role of public cloud will inevitably change. So what am I saying here? That public cloud will die and edge will prevail? No, not at all. The total calculation power balance will shift from public cloud towards the edge, and the role of public cloud will transform in the process. So to me, it's not about who prevails and who dies. All three core elements, edge, cloud, and core, will be equally vital and continue to coexist. It's clear as a day to me that the future will inevitably be hybrid. Apps need to run and data needs to be stored in different places for various good reasons. There's no going around that. Based on all the announcements lately, I can also see that the lines between hyperscalers and hybrid scalers will blur. Hyperscalers will continue to expand to on-prem, and infrastructure vendors will seek ways to expand their cloud experience to public cloud domain. Ultimately, everyone is after that hybrid cloud crown. An overwhelming amount of indicators are pointing towards a distributed future once again, away from a centralized public cloud world in which we've been living for the past decade. But as we've seen lately, those companies that we have known as hyperscalers will evolve beyond just being public cloud providers and start offering on-prem and even edge solutions. On the other hand, traditional infrastructure vendors will quickly adopt cloud and as-a-service models on every level. And if they don't, they will become niche players or, in the worst case, cease to exist. So, what does all this mean for us consumers, customers, and tech enthusiasts? Only good things. We will see increasingly more cloud experiences with services and industries that we didn't even think would be possible to be cloudified. We will see more choice, lower prices, and cooperation between different vendors. And as a cherry on a cake, I profoundly believe that because of cloud, we will see a better future for the planet too, since at the core of every efficient as-a-service model, there's inevitably circular economy that leads towards more optimal usage of Earth's resources. Even if being green is not the business goal or value for a company, it's still an automatic byproduct. With all this, I'm super excited to see what 2022 has to offer for us tech enthusiasts. Happy New Year everyone, and stay safe.